Welcome back, everyone. So today we're going to be working on some stuff on the outside of the bus, and we have some trips planned in October, so I want to make sure the bus is as safe and drivable as possible. Now, not that the bus isn't safe, I just want to make sure it's as good as possible so that there's no issues driving on the road and we don't have to get towed or anything like that while we're out driving. So there's two things that I want to focus on, and one of them today is focusing on replacing the struts or shocks on the outside of the bus. Now, as you can see, the old ones are, I think they're factory. So, yeah. So the old shock is out. It went from up there down to the hole down there. And the next thing I want to do is just clean the spot up down there as well as up top, and then we can put the new shock in. So we got one of the new front shocks here. So we just gotta cut this and then we'll be able to put it in. So again, here's the old shock, and it's pretty beat up. And I needed to use some channel locks to hold this so that I could get this nut off. Because usually right in here is an extra nut that you can hold with a wrench, which this doesn't have it. And that way you can just hold that with a wrench while you tighten the nut on the top or the bottom. So I'm going to put the new shock together and then we can put it in there, cut the plastic, and then we'll be able to place it right where it needs to go. I'm going to take the shock and place the bottom part in first, and then the top part here I'll align it with the hole, and that's when I'll cut this piece of plastic so that it kind of just goes right into the air where it needs to. I have it set in there, it's set up in the top area. We just need to put the other bushing and then the nut on top. See, in this one, there's a nut here that I can put on, and that way I can hold it without having to hold the shock itself right up here. So I'll put this on here, and then I'll get my impact. And here's the one on the driver's side. So I just sprayed it with some kind of PB blaster, so that one down there and that one up there have a little bit easier time coming off. So we'll get this shock off, put a new one on here, and then we can work towards the back of the bus. So I'm doing the same thing as the other side. I have the bottom set up, so I'm going to place that in the top. Just going to align where it needs to go, and then I can cut this right over here. And that goes right into place. Cut that piece off. Then I'll attach the bushing, washer, and the nut, and the same thing on the bottom. And here we have the driver's side all in and tightened up. New washers, new bushing, so that side is done. And like I said, we will work our way to the back of the bus now. So I just wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of how bad these shocks were. This is the passenger side, this is the driver's side, and as you can see, if you compress it, it doesn't even expand again, so pretty bad. Alright, so I know this is hard to see, so we're actually in the back of the bus now, and we have a shock here and one on the other side. So the bottoms are a little bit different, the tops are the same as before, so we will start with the top and then should be easier to get this nut off afterwards. Now, in the process of finally getting this top nut off here, the shock kind of started disintegrating. The last thing I need to get off is this nut down here. There's a bolt, and then there's a nut on this side here. So I'm just gonna put the impact here, put a wrench on this side, and I'll be able to take this off, and the shock will essentially just fall down. Now that I got it loose with the breaker bar, I can just use the ratcheting wrench. Take it off, bolt out, and the shock comes out. So here is the new shock that'll be going in back here. As you can see, this is the bottom part, and then this is the top mount. So again, we will put these rubber bushings and the washers on one end, attach it to the bottom first, cut it, and then allow it to go up and seat itself into this piece right here. Now first we're going to put in the top, then this bottom piece here. So we have the top part of the shock all connected, as well as the bottom part. I'm covered in dirt, and I don't know if you can hear that, that's thunder, and it's about to rain. So I'm gonna get this other side done and put everything back together. Okay, so shocks are all in, but I'm not sure if you can really see, but you can probably hear it's very windy out, and the sky there's more thunder, very black. So test drive is gonna be later or tomorrow to make sure that everything is smooth and running good. And then, yeah, here's the surprise that I have for the next video. Something that I've been putting off for a very long time, and something that I need to make sure I'm driving this bus as safe as possible. This is the surprise. So I have these beefy tires. I have 2 out of 4 so far for the back of the bus. Now you can see the tread on these ones is insanely deep and nice, and then if you go to the back tires, you can see that there's basically literally no tread on these, like just a tiny bit right here. So those tires will be replacing these back ones that have absolutely no tread on them at all. Okay, so it finally stopped raining, and now we can test drive this thing with the new shocks. Alright, so hopefully you can hear me in here, but we are taking this on the highway to test the new shocks I just put in. So let's see how they do. I mean, I already feel like a good, it's not as bouncy, which is perfect, and that's kind of what we were getting at with installing the new shocks. So the road that I'm going on right now was the one that had some potholes that it was very, very bouncy. So we're gonna try and avoid that if we can. So this is the road that was super bumpy, and it made the bus like wobble, but it's not doing that with the new shocks, so that's perfect. That's what we're hoping for. And now we can take it